We're just gonna repost the new link on the Patreon post for those of you guys that are just joining us right now. It's so nice to see you too. So we just ran into a crisis of where we're staying. All of a sudden the Wi-Fi is just not wanting to connect with us. So
we're on our data.
On the streets of Chiang Mai, as you can hear bikes going by. We're so sorry, you guys, for
the hold up.
We were in like a panic mode. We're like, oh my god, what
running
do we do?
around trying to figure this out. Okay, so if you guys made it.
Did you post it on the old stream?
Okay, I'll post it on Patreon. You talk about Chiang Mai.
Okay, so we just arrived in Chiang Mai. It is beautiful here. We love it. It's been a little bit of a crazy day. We traveled from Siem Reap and just got here. We're actually on our way to the Elephant Nature Park tomorrow just to do some wonderful new things that we can't wait to share with you guys soon. And yeah, it's been a busy day. Mark is just trying to figure everything out. But it's wonderful to be here with you guys. I wish I could show you more of Chiang Mai. It's dark. You can kind of see the streets. We're in the part of Chiang Mai called the Old City. For those of you that are ever traveling out here to Thailand, highly recommend you guys check it out because this just has such a beautiful vibe here. Like there's so many temples, cute little coffee shops. We found a really cool vegan restaurant today that actually donates all their proceeds from the restaurant to the refugees of Burma. So it's really incredible. So we've been being here for the last like 5 hours. Has been awesome. So yeah, so we wanted to take this time like we promised, even though with bad connections we're here, and we want to answer some questions. So if any of you guys have anything to ask, you can just put it in the chat box and you'll be able to ask us anything. But we'll also go through a couple of questions that we had emailed to us previously, as well as we had some questions in the comment box. So how's it going?
It's good. I've almost got it up.
Mark's just getting the chat box ready, okay, so we can kind of get you guys.
Whew.
So let's start with...
I think so. Somebody was having trouble, though, getting over here.
Who?
I don't know. I'm lost. I'm lost with too many things open. Okay. Cindy Bradley. I wonder if she made it over.
Oh, there she is. Hi.
Cindy Bradley made it.
Sorry for the hold up.
Okay.
So let's start. We're gonna start again, you guys. If you have any questions, just put in the little chat box. We're here.
The hamstring one. Well, I'm fixing this. Talk about... Somebody asked...
Very specific question, but it was about the...
Sit down?
Sure. Specific... oh, okay. Well, I'll just address this one. Well, when you post the U.S. tour locations...
we're actually so excited about that. We had...
Oh my god, you guys. We had so many applications. It's ridiculous. And we're right now in the midst of just planning out the routing. So we should be posting the
first wave? Probably in about a week? What do you think?
And we will have all the information, like we'll have a full website, like full web page for it, where you'll see the whole routing, the cities, the dates, the location, so it'll all be properly.
I saw someone just say, tell people that are having trouble to use Chrome or not Chrome. I don't know. Hang on, keep talking about the tour. Talk about some of the awesome places we think we're gonna hit.
So there's going to be a lot of places in the States we'll be hitting. Joshua Tree. Oh yeah, someone says use Chrome.
Use Chrome.
Joshua Tree.
Las Vegas. There's Las Vegas. There's Alaska. We're really, really happy about Alaska.
Yeah, we're trying to read questions as we're answering.
You talk, I'll tell you questions from here. How's that? Because I see you like you're talking and then you're like, and you start staring at that.
Alaska is actually one of the places that we're really excited to go, and not just because it's a beautiful place and we can't wait to do an event there, but also we figured on our drive we could shoot some really beautiful videos for you guys, so that's going to be really exciting.
I've always wanted to drive on the Alaska Highway.
Yeah. And then we have tons of places in California, New York, some places in Texas actually, and I've actually never been in mid-America. I've only kind of been on the Pacific coast and the East Coast, so I'm really excited to really discover a lot of those places. We got Toronto, Vancouver.
Look, there's people everywhere. We're out on the streets.
They're like, who are these crazy people with a laptop and like a phone, like talking at 11 o'clock at night?
Could you describe your feelings being there in Asian countries? Do they feel like being in a very different world that you don't really understand, or do you feel a deep connection? Like, could you move there forever?
We love it here.
We left Siem Reap. This is an interesting one. We went to Siem Reap and we thought we were only going to be there for a very short period of time. It's in Cambodia. And we stayed for a week, and then we left for a few days to southern Cambodia in Sihanoukville. And then we stayed there for a couple of days, and we realized we were missing Siem Reap. We went back there, and we were there for almost 2.5 more weeks.
We just couldn't leave. It was so incredible. And what really touches us and I think connects with us, I don't know how to describe it, but it's just the energy of the place. And Siem Reap is a really interesting city because there are places where it's extreme poverty. It's really, really sad to see. And
but there's a level of like humanity and equality throughout, even to us. Like, we felt very embraced, and it was very friendly and very peaceful, and everyone was just extremely content and happy to some degree that we experienced. And Angkor Wat was beautiful, and all the temples were beautiful, and we just felt, it was weird. We looked at each other at one point and just said how extremely comfortable we were there.
We just had our motorbike and we go anywhere and
shot some amazing videos
and just felt like we blended in really well. And as for the language, it's incredible how much people speak English everywhere.
Yeah, because someone just asked that, actually.
Yeah, I mean, if you go to more rural areas, it's a little bit more difficult, but in the main city of Siem Reap, it's like anywhere you go.
In Cambodia, actually, English is almost, they say it's almost the second language.
Yeah.
In Thailand here, I mean, we are in Chiang Mai, and it's relatively spoken, but the language barrier, I mean, we do a lot of trying to communicate with as little of the local languages as we learn. But I don't know, at the end, there's also, I don't know, we keep to ourselves a lot, and we only ask very basic things of most people, like toilets and food and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, or how much.
Or how much, yeah. So Cindy's wondering what happened to your videos on the YouTube subscription channel and why only 4 or 5 are coming up. I'm a little confused about that, actually.
Nothing really has changed with our YouTube. I mean, we're putting out, we try as much as our schedule allows to do one, yoga or Pilates video for you guys a week, and then also some kind of diary or updating you on our adventures. So that's still going on YouTube.
But if you're talking about Patreon subscription, because that's really the only kind of technical subscription we have, which is this. Currently we have 1 live hour-long class. We promised that we'd do 1 class a month, but now we're looking at our tour and we're talking to some of the organizers about it. And it looks like we're going to try and stream as much as we can hour-long classes from the tour. And our goal with that really is to build an incredible library of hour-long classes for people that are here on Patreon. 1 class a month, we think that's because we're learning to stream, as you guys can tell.
And it's an hour-long class too, so.
I mean, that was a great accomplishment for us, and if that's what we continue to do, we'd be really happy. But we'd love it if during this tour we could knock out like 15 or even up to 20 just classes in 2 or 3 months, and just build a library for you guys on here, because we really appreciate the Patreon support, and you guys even being here with us right now, and like all of this has been such a wonderful experience connecting us to you guys. So we just want to keep giving back in that kind of sense.
Yeah.
So how about tour locations, the hamstring thing? We had the email ones. How long have you been vegan?
So someone asked us in an email, how long have we been vegan? We've been Mark has been vegetarian for how long? Like
20 years?
20 years. I was vegetarian for about 2 years before I went vegan, and we've been vegan right now for 6 years, and it has been the most amazing decision of our lives, mentally, physically, spiritually. So
yeah, it's really just given us a better rhythm with our health and with our body, and with just feeling that every day. You know, we say sometimes that it's our little bit of activism, because dollars are votes, and so every time you buy something, you're voting for that product. And so it's I vote Green Party, and I know that it's not going to win in Canada, but I do it anyways because it's my contribution to the democratic process. And consumerism is a democratic process, and we talk a lot about how when we choose what we want to eat, that's our vote towards that being more of a mainstream decision. Are you always in sync with each other? The way you describe fascination with that place in Cambodia. Do you ever fight? You're not invading any boundaries.
It's funny. A lot of people have been asking us if we ever fight, and how our relationship is. I mean, I wouldn't say we fight. We work together 24/7.
So we disagree.
So there's things we disagree on,
but we kind of want to disagree.
Because it kind of keeps us on our toes and
keeps us pushing each other.
Yeah, exactly. So I wouldn't say we ever fight, but
there's a dog walking by.
In any relationship there could be arguments that come up, but I feel like we have a very healthy relationship.
And when we catch ourselves sort of at odds, we usually recognize. I think we talked about this in the first one a little bit, the first stream. We recognize that's sometimes coming from a place in our ego or a place in our mind which isn't necessarily us. So we'll actually call ourselves out a lot and say, why are we doing this? Let's stop for a second. Where is this coming from? What emotion is pulling this out? And we'll actually, we recognize in that moment, or do our best to recognize, that it's better to talk about where it came from and fix it, rather than try to fix it by talking about it. If that makes sense, because the more you just engage emotionally with each other, the more harm you can do. So we work really hard at stepping outside of our emotion and then talking about where that emotion came from so we can avoid it next time. Yeah. It takes it don't mean it.
I'm just reading it.
Yeah, I know.
You gotta hear motorbikes. They're just...
I know, there's so many people walking by and all this stuff. So we did the vegan one. When you travel, what do you take?
Oh gosh. Well, currently we have 2 backpacks right now. We have one giant backpack that fits all of our clothes. So we had to really minimize our lives because we have to fit both of our wardrobes in one big backpack, not a tiny one, like a backpacker's backpack. And then we have another backpack that's all our gear, has all our cameras, tripods, all that stuff. So we travel very light.
Which is quite the accomplishment, because when we used to backpack, we both would get a backpack.
Yeah.
And we didn't take whole bunch of yoga clothes as well for shooting. So it's been amazing to sort of have to continuously realize if we haven't worn something in a couple of weeks, we find someone to give it to. And so we've been constantly finding people that could use our clothes that we don't use to keep our load light. And I don't know, actually the best one was the first one when we had all our clothes from the plane when we were in Ubud.
We actually ended up donating half our clothes that we knew we weren't going to wear, like sweaters and things like that, to a homeless lady with 2 children on the street, and it was amazing.
And she couldn't understand, right, what we were doing, but we were like, no, these are for you. This giant bag of hoodies and stuff that we knew we didn't need, and we'd already realized a week into our trip that was overpacked. And then we left her with the bag, kind of in shock. And then we drove by on our little moped after, and we saw them just rifling through the bag and holding things up, and the kids were so happy.
It was like Christmas for them. It was
so
wonderful.
Amazing, actually.
We've had a couple questions about the Patreon tutorials. Yes, you guys, that's actually one of the new things we're really excited to add. We will have another tutorial coming your way about an upward dog. So now we've done the downward dog, the chaturanga, upward dog. So now I'm gonna really help you understand the full flow. And we're gonna keep going. We're gonna do a pigeon tutorial because that's been a big question, arising a lot.
Sun salutation.
So all of that, we will continue these tutorials. And if you guys have any specific questions or positions that you really need clarity,
just drop them in the comments on,
because we save
Patreon.
them, and obviously we can't do 10 in a row, but as we continue to put them out, we'll eventually do it. So, and I think it's a great thing to add, because I read some comment that it does help people a lot, because when you go to a yoga class, you're just following along. Nobody actually breaks it down step by step how to do a proper upward dog, and you end up following people. But I think when you really break it down to the very gritty details, it's actually going to help you improve your practice. So I think it's a very, very important aspect of your personal yoga practice, and I'm really excited and happy that we started doing it.
Yeah, and it's like a ground up thing. I mean, if you go back to basics and start learning from that ground up again, you build a much stronger foundation.
Yeah. So they'll be coming, don't worry.
Yeah. Okay, do you feel homesick for your family at all? My husband and I moved across to U.S. Colorado, away from all our friends and family, to start a business, and we deal with this often. Well, that's interesting. For our family, I don't know if we call it homesick.
Thank you, Judah.
Oh my goodness.
Message. Thank you so much.
I don't know if we call it homesick or that we miss our families. In fact, I think we FaceTime with our families more now than we ever have.
I think we definitely miss, I know it's going to sound funny, but we definitely miss our dog a lot.
Oh, so much.
And we're actually going back to Canada in like 6 days, so we're really excited to see him. But with our families, of course, but I feel like Mark and I, for a long time, we've kind of lived in the city, and our families have been spread out, so it's not like we saw them every day. So I think it's not as difficult because we FaceTime on a daily basis.
And it's funny that sometimes when you put large amounts of distance, like for instance, my sister lived, a 45-minute drive, maybe tops from us, and then because we were so close and because we were always so busy and we lived an urban life, a city consciousness of like always doing this and always busy and always doing that, and like really doing that like Toronto thing that I don't know if you guys out there understand, like that. Just it's a next level kind of consciousness that's really self-involved and makes you prioritize things that shouldn't really be priorities. And then all of a sudden we see her maybe once every couple of months and maybe talk to her about the same, because there's always a reason to not. And I think she felt kind of the same way living in Toronto as well. And then we moved to the other side of the world, and you put some real distance between yourself. And now we FaceTime and prioritize
regularly. Yeah.
She flew out to Thailand last time we were here last month.
Because she really wanted to experience being with the elephants, and we were going to ENP, Elephant Nature Park, and so we're like, well, come along. I think it would be an experience of a lifetime for you. So she flew out from Toronto
with 48 hours notice.
48 hours notice. She's just like,
and came with us.
Yeah,
and it was crazy. So I mean, and I had the same thing with one of my friends. We write regular weekly emails now when we didn't ever have the time to even see each other, and we both live in Toronto. So sometimes distance can make you really realize that like you have to prioritize the people you love.
Exactly.
And I think that was a huge lesson for us, like moving all the way out here. Like
just to answer Alexandra's question, we don't have a specific video out about the sun salutation. I think that's what you're asking. But like I mentioned in the tutorials that we're doing on the Patreon, we will be constantly adding on new tutorials, and I will do one that has the full sun salutation for you guys with the breathing and everything broken down. So that will be coming up soon.
That's good. So these cars driving by and all the people, it's really funny. We're just standing on the street.
Love it.
Okay, what is your morning routine? Okay, so we have a very awesome morning routine that I'm really proud of, because we've been working really hard at finding it and working it into our life. Sorry, we're just like dropping the thing. Working into our life. And I mean, you want to talk about it, Juliana?
We find that it really helps us to find our balance if we take at least an hour to 2 hours every morning. And that usually includes, we try to wake up early, so maybe about 6 a.m. We start with the morning practice. Always just depends on how we feel. Sometimes if we're feeling a little tired, we'll do something easier. Or if we're feeling energized, we'll kind of do a harder, yoga workout kind of thing. Then we always meditate for at least 15 to 20 minutes just to kind of clear our minds. And after that, we started actually just doing here, we do this journaling exercise where we make sure that every morning we journal 2 pages about just anything, like
it's
how
like
we feel.
It's a stream of consciousness thing, and it's to help you break down creative boundaries. We learned it from a book called, I think it's called The Artist's Way. We talked about it last time.
Yeah.
And it's really great because there's something about being creative that, our human psyche, the older you get as well, tends to build blocks against. It's like the self-judgment aspect, and it's like a muscle. It's like whether it's doing yoga or boxing or hockey or songwriting or whatever it is, the more you do it, the stronger you get, and the more you learn how to break through your own personal barriers. So we sit down, and it takes about 20 minutes. We do 2 full pages of writing off the top of our head. Now it ends up sometimes being like letting out like frustration or worries
Or just
anxiety
literally nonsense.
or nonsense, but sometimes it's like really creative and it's a story that's coming out of your mind, but you just let it come out and you don't judge it. That's the only rule to it. You do not judge.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever gone back and read any of mine. And we have like 40 entries for the last 40 days.
Yeah. So usually that's kind of part of our morning routine. It's the yoga, the meditation, the writing.
And then we make our lists for the day.
Yeah. And recently we started making these lists where we set out our goals of what we want to accomplish, and that kind of helps us just to really see what kind of day we're going to have. So that's been really, really helpful.
And the key to the list, because we always did lists, but we prioritize them now. So we learned this watching videos, actually. I don't know, sorry about the noise. So many tuk-tuks driving by right now. So with our lists in the morning, we look at the list and we pick the hardest, most intimidating thing off the list. The thing that we say, if there's one thing on this list that we got done today and we would be happy with, and that was all we could do, we pick the hardest one, the most intimidating. And as soon as you knock out that hardest one, sometimes it takes 20 minutes, sometimes it takes 3 hours, depending what it is. The rest just seems to breeze through. And that would be my biggest advice to anyone when you're making your daily list. It's like, pick the hardest thing
first
and nail it right off the bat. Because if you don't, if you're like us, you tend to avoid it the rest of the day if you don't do it right off the bat.
We had a really good question actually come up from, you scroll down. How do you deal with other-minded people? Not everybody understands and even accepts this lifestyle.
Guys, before you get into that, I'm going to quickly say, someone asked how the necklaces are coming along. They got shipped out yesterday.
Yes.
So we're very happy, and I'm cutting in because I have 1% on this computer. So we're going to start winding down after this. We'll see some comments pop up right there. So we'll continue with it. But as we go, we're going to try walking. Because now I'm dead. I'm literally like, it's 1% left.
So to answer the question, how do we deal with people? Where are you going to walk to?
I don't know.
Chiang Mai?
Yeah, let's show people Chiang Mai. You want to go that way? Okay, that way. So.
It's difficult because we do get a lot of different-minded people, especially through social media, that sometimes like to share their opinions and criticize what we do or how we see the world. And to us, everyone has their path, and everybody's going to have their view on what they think is right and how someone should live their life. And
to higher level ideas of peace and love and things that we love.
Yeah.
Everyone has their time or their opportunity, and not everyone chooses to take it, but not everyone's time is right now. And so I guess that's a long-winded way of saying acceptance. First and foremost, to not everyone's going to be like you or like us.
Yeah,
or
and some people will never agree with what you believe in, and that's okay.
Because that's what being human is.
Yeah.
And
so just not taking it to heart and truly believing in what you believe in and standing strong for your values and for your dreams. I think it's really important, and not really caring, because something we've learned with YouTube and everything we've been doing online is that you will never make everybody happy. Like, you will never have everybody love what you do, and that's just the reality of life. And when you accept it and you just try to tune it out, if it affects you, then that's just the way to go.
And it can be really, as you can tell from our diaries, we're highly emotional people about the world, and
There's a motorbike coming on
sort of our place in the world and how we see it, and because it's a very troubled world these days. So, and we see a lot of people that don't want to find a higher consciousness and a higher understanding of it, and just want to lead a life of I don't know, self-interest, I guess, or not even that, like just like global awareness, like absence. And so it can be very depressing, and it's really hard sometimes. And the only thing we can do, and the only thing that we find works for us, is focusing on the light, focusing on the positive. Well, as I say that, the light goes out. focusing on the positives in
Yeah,
life,
that's
and realizing that all we can do is our best, all of us, each of us, and there's a benefit in that. And I don't know, if we all just do our little bit, eventually things will start to move in a personal way and in a social way and in a global way in a positive direction. And you have to believe that. You just have to hold on to hope.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't know, that's really like, it can get hard sometimes when you see the world for what it is, because the world as it is a very, very scary.
And if you guys have seen our last diary that we posted, like, we're really seeing a lot of what's going on in this world, and it's really sad, like from the plastic that's everywhere that we come across to the animals that are going extinct to
the massive amounts of poverty we were talking about earlier
Yeah.
in all of these countries, and just like the giant gap between the people who have and the people who have not. And there's not a lot you can do as an individual, but you can keep positive and just keep trying to do good things.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. We're standing out front of Hug Chiang House. There
And
it is.
thank you guys. I just see like comments coming up being like, thank you for inspiring us. I just want to say thank you guys. I mean, yeah, it means a lot to us to hear this from you, and it's just everything we ever do, and every time we get these comments, it warms our hearts. So thank you.
And thanks for being patrons for us.
Yeah.
Honestly, as you know, going through the little YouTube crisis, it wasn't just about that to us. It was also about trying to figure out if people wanted to connect closer.
Yeah.
And so I think we are small, but we are mighty. I say that about Patreon, but that's what's so amazing, is that we are mighty.
Yeah, and we're just collecting this amazing community of people that we really feel inspired to share our thoughts, because it's it's a community of like-minded people as well. You're kind of cutting out all the rest of the stuff that you get on YouTube sometimes, so I don't know, it's cool. But speaking of YouTube, we actually want to thank you. We want to do a live stream on YouTube for the first time, so for everybody, but of course you guys
Get the Q&As and the hangouts.
We want to live stream from the Elephant Nature Park, and we want to take you guys so you can really see.
Who's that guy?
You could see the elephants, you can hear their stories. It is truly an incredible place, and we want to take you there with us. We're going to be there for a couple of days, so we'll put an announcement on the Patreon maybe tomorrow or the next day, depending on how our shooting schedule goes. But we want to take you there and just kind of show you around so you could feel what it's like to be with these beautiful, gentle giants.
Amazing. Okay, guys, well,
we're gonna head
that's
to
a
bed.
half hour. We're gonna head to bed. It's late here, and
Yeah.
that was a large panic session when this streaming thing didn't work out.
But we make it work. It's always like you just figure it out.
As we
With
wander the
anything in
streets
life.
of Chiang Mai.
You're getting a tour of the alleys of Chiang Mai at 11 o'clock.
At 11 o'clock, 11:30 probably at this point. But yeah, lots of love to you guys.
Love you guys, and we can't wait to catch up. And if you have any questions, just comment below, and we'll try to get to them very soon.
Oh, hang on, last question. Seeing as though you've been leading very isolated lives, are you looking forward to meeting people? Yes.
So much.
Oh my goodness.
This tour is going to be really, really fun, and I can't wait to actually meet people in person and do a yoga class with everybody. It's going to be incredible. So
Yeah,
we're so stoked on it, guys, and we can't wait to share all our dates and times and venues. So, oh my gosh, we're so excited.
All right, guys.
Lots of love.
Bye.
See you soon.